each. Mic check 1 2. What to do? Welcome back to the Mic Check podcast. This is T Word, the People's Champ. Thanks for tapping in. Today we're talking about the Texas Longhorns and their recent win over Wyoming. But before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. We're still growing out here, folks. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into it. We're talking about the Texas Longhorns, obviously my favorite college football team, as well as the Wyoming Cowboys. And this game was played on Saturday night, and it started about an hour before Colorado and Colorado State kicked off, so I was able to kind of flip back and forth and keep my eye on both games. Thankfully, they were basically on a couple of networks that I could get, so happy to be able to see both. And this game didn't disappoint for me as a Longhorns fan, simply because Quinton Ewers, he's what I expected him to be. And I think that the team around him is going to make him look a little bit better than maybe his talent can live up to for now. Anyway, this game is big for Texas because they were coming off a major upset on the road over Alabama Crimson Tide. And when you have an emotional upset game like that, it's really hard sometimes for teams to get up for the next week. And early on, it kind of looked that way for Texas, like as if they weren't prepared to play a team that wanted to beat them. So first part of the game, Wyoming goes up 7-0. Texas brings it within 4 by scoring 3. And then they go ahead and take a 10-7 lead going into the half. And then coming down the second half, Wyoming scores first, and it's 10-10. At that point in the game, I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, I got a text from a friend. And basically her words was like, it'd be funny if Texas lost. And I was like, yeah, it'd be funny, but the crying emoji, like, not real funny. You know what I mean? After such a big win, she happens to be an Alabama Crimson Tide fan. So we had that joke, and then right after, Texas kind of put the foot on the gas. They figured out what they were there for. I mean, it's a home game. You're back coming off a big win. You got to put your stamp on football. And this team remembered who they were. You are a good team. You have one of the better recruiting classes. You are a blue blood college. Play like that. Play like the elite. You're ranked in the top 5. You're number 4 coming into this game. And the play that broke it open was a huge play by Xavier Worthy. And 40 plus yards. He catches a little quick catch on the sideline, it looked like a hitch route. I have to go back and watch the replay, but he catches the pass, and before you know it, this track star is off to the races. I mean, as you can see by the graphic on the screen, he's a thinly built dude, but when he gets the motor running, you ain't catching this guy. And he proved on his way to the end zone why he is one of the best players, in my opinion, in college football at wide receiver, because he's so explosive. He's a key factor in the return game and everything. So on the day, the statistical numbers for the Longhorns don't look super impressive. You've got 11 of 21 for 121 yards and 2 TDs for Quinn Ewers. He's also got a rushing TD, so he's responsible in some way for all 3 TDs for the team that they scored. What I think is going to bother me about this team is that as they get into conference play, you got Baylor coming up next week, and then you got OU after that. I need to see them get started early. It's something I mentioned about with Colorado as well, kind of this slow start stuff. I don't like that because I know that this team can be explosive. They score 30 plus points every week, and I need them to get to that number early, because then you probably push your points per game up to into the 40s, maybe 42, maybe high 38, 39 points a game. And that's what you're going to need to be competitive on a national level with teams outside your conference and headed to the SEC next year. Other players, let's see, we had rushing by Brooks, number 24, 21 carries, 164 yards, 7.8 yards per carry. I like that. Red was the other back who had 2 carries for 12 yards. That's 6 yards per carry. Other than that, the run game was paltry. Again, something I mentioned last week I had some concerns about also is that this team doesn't seem to run the ball well with multiple players. It's one guy. And I don't know, maybe I'm just kind of become accustomed to Texas having a couple of backs that they could go to when one guy wasn't getting it done. And right now, we just got the one guy. So if you could bottle him up or take him out of the game, you're stuck. And we saw what happened when they were able to bottle up Bijan Robinson last year. So I'd like to see things get better. Worthy was the leading receiver with 4 catches for 56 yards and a TD. And then the next best was A.D. Mitchell, 3 catches for 30 yards. And one of his plays, I think, was like a 16-yard catch, but it was critical to move the chains and keep a drive going. So what you're seeing from this Texas team is that they've got talent all over the place, but sometimes it's just not always clicking. I can't blame the offensive line. I think to some degree, some of the concerns that people that are also Texas fans have expressed to me about Quinn Ewers are starting to show up. He's not the greatest decision maker, but he's not a guy that's going to lose you a bunch of games. Obviously, no turnovers, but he's not the guy that's going to go out there and make the huge play like I thought he was last year. But I still believe he can impact games because he's consistently the same type of player. It's just you need a star. You know, that's what Colorado has in Shador. That's what USC has in Williams. You know, you have a star. And that's going to make a big difference. On the flip side of that coin, you have Alabama, who has no starting quarterback, in my opinion. They don't have a star at the position, and they struggled in their game this week. So, harkening back to something I said after the game where Texas won against Alabama, that's not the Alabama that we all know. They have a problem at quarterback. They played 3 quarterbacks this season, and none of them looked that good. So that tells you that Nick Saban is in trouble because he don't have that go-to guy that can win him some games, and this could prove to be fatal for this team because I think 2 or 3 losses is well within reason. Anyway, back to Texas. According to the rankings that came out today on Sunday, Texas has moved up from number 4 to number 3. So hook them, and we're going to leave it on that note. So tell me what you think about these Longhorns. Do you think they're the real deal, or is this just early season fodder? That has yet to be seen. I think this is the real deal, and I like what Sarkisian is doing with this offense. But this has been T for the Mike Check Podcast. Until the next time, I am out. Peace.